Welcome to another episode of The 116 Life right here on Sirius XM Channel 140 here on Holy Culture Radio. Listen, thank you. We love you. That's one thing I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you the truth. We love you here at The 116 Life. We're so happy that you guys are here tapped in. As y'all see, things are a little different. You know what I'm saying? We got a little different things rolling on. So we know, of course, you know, it's usually two of us here. But today, I'm a solo co-host, y'all. I'm a solo co-host. But the thing is my guest is none other than the SVP, the head of A&R himself. Ace Harris is our guest today. And we have a lot of great things going up to Ace. We have a lot of great things. So this show's different because, you know, we're all wrapping up, like, you know, Spotify Wrap just happened, you know, things like that. Everyone's talking about their top 5 and things like that. So we want to talk about and dive into all the releases that came out of Reach this year. And who better to talk about it than you yourself? So overarching, looking at the whole year, what do you think about how the releases came out, how everyone rolled out? As everyone as a whole, what do you think?
No, thank you, Meah. I mean, it's really dope to, you know, tap in with you. I mean, you're a real one. You're a real, like, CHH fan, 116
Absolutely,
fan. So
yeah.
This is not just me, you know, going through these songs, because you really do live through this stuff. We ain't gonna put you on blast and list your Spotify, you know, rap. I'm not gonna list mine either.
Right, we're gonna keep that under wraps. But so much good music came out this year.
I feel like we're in a Christian. I just don't want to say Christian hip hop. I think because Reach Records, we embody the essence of hip hop and other genres as well. I feel like we're in a Christian music renaissance with the internet, and I think there's so much growth. We see everybody going viral every other day.
Yeah.
Shout out Caleb, shout out Forrest Frank, shout out Alex John. There's so many dope artists. Shout out Child like CC that are just killing it. But I think it'd be dope to kind of walk through the songs that from our label, from our roster, that the fans and the listeners just been continually rocking with, and I'm just feel overjoyed to kind of go through it and kind of look at the year we had. So.
Listen, so you kind of did a segue within yourself talking about, you said how we walked into so many different things. So let's dive into the year Hovey had.
For sure.
With so many different songs. I feel like Hovey, we're talking off camera, and Hovey had such a great year this year. You know, so many great songs went viral. The tour happened. Walk featuring Lecrae happened. Alter, Love Like That, Used by You. So many great things. So which one do you want to talk about first? I really want to give this all in your hands.
Because we could be here all day. So
I'm
gonna try to keep it as like fast as we can. So let's start with Walk. So obviously we have planned for 2023 to come with some new songs. We have recorded Walk in 2022. And to be honest, this is me, and I can say this, I think Hovey and Lecrae will let me say this. We made it. We were excited when we made it. And then like afterwards, we were just honestly cool off of it. That's me. That's Hovey and Lecrae. We just were like, it's a good song, but we didn't know if it was great, and it really wasn't supposed to come out.
Here's why I'm excited about this episode, because I love hearing behind the scenes things like that. Because when we hear it, we're like, oh, this is amazing. We were hearing this song everywhere. It was very much so a staple, I believe. And y'all saying that y'all just were like, I mean, it's cool.
We were sometimes as creatives, obviously I play that role, so you can kind of get insecure and overthink. And shout out my A&R team, Alex and Dre. And we were trying to find a song for 116 Day, and we're kind of going back and forth. I mean, the team liked the song, but it wasn't like everybody was like, it was just like, okay, whatever. If it comes out, cool. And then my A&R team was like, yo, y'all tripping. This got to come out. And we just kind of get it going. We had really not a lot of marketing set up for it. It was like a lot of post-marketing. And we posted the clip. Lecrae was for it. It was on MLK Day. Lecrae made a dope segue to kind of highlight the song in light of MLK Day. Jamie Foxx, even though I don't want to say his name right now, but other celebrities started posting the song. It took off, and I think that song really kicked off the year, not just for Hovey, but just for the whole 116 movement, because it just kind of set the tone. And with an unashamed message, Walk, and a drill record, production went crazy. Shout out Carvello and Manny Sanford, everybody that worked on it. So
I want to talk a little bit about songs like Alter and Used by You, because it was something about those songs, and I think even just as Hovey as an artist, it just comes off just so just like in its purest form. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lord, I want to be used by you, and lead me to your altar. Like, you know what I'm saying? What was it like? Because I know that you had a hand in, you know, being behind the scenes with those. Talk about the creation of those songs and how those songs came about.
I mean, shout out Forrest Frank. The No Longer Bound song obviously was going viral around the time Walk dropped, and we know we wanted to have a record that could probably follow up, and we thought it would be dope to have, you know, a Hovey song featuring Forrest. Some people didn't like that idea, you know what I'm saying? But we were just like, let's just run it back. And so we just started creating. We had a bunch of other ideas that we like. Shout out Forrest too. He was just like, man, look, your next song gotta be your best song.
No, facts.
He kind of and we kind of felt the moment, and we just went into. I mean, I dropped the A&R Corner video on it, which kind of explains how it all happened. But essentially, I was just going through some old ideas I had and some hook ideas I had wrote, and then the song just kind of just fell in our laps, to be honest. And
both songs?
Yeah, like Alter just kind of fell in our lap. We made it. We knew we had something, and I think it was just a perfect like follow-up to No Longer Bound, and it kind of set the year off for Hovey. His other songs in his catalog started to go like viral, like Beautiful and Have Me, and it was all consistently in the same sonic, and it just kind of worked. And then we just kind of just trusted the sound we were building, and just being like true to what we create, and people just started to resonate with it, which I think says a lot about the fans and the listeners. That's why this episode is for y'all, for real.
Nah, for real. Listen, so I want to talk about because you're with you spent time with Hovey. What was it like? Because you've seen him from like last year, you know. So what would you say was the difference between Hovey last year in the studio and the Hovey this year in the studio with the music and everything like that?
I would say when he was cutting his verse on Alter and Used by You, I was literally with him through every line and every bar. I was in there with him. I would say this is why it's fun to see artists grow and develop, like his growth and development and like his confidence as a artist. It was just shaped. Like he there's a line on Alter at the end of it that's like carrying buckets of shame. Father, I'm saying your name, but so far from it. This is a covenant, blood in my vein. Like he was rapping that bar, and I was like, yo, I knew in my spirit that this guy was literally in another zone creatively. Not to flex his artistry, like as if it's giving credit to him, because obviously God, gives us the power to create. But I saw like a shift in his artistry and a new level that I was like, yo, this is fun to watch.
He's locked in.
And he was locked in.
Yeah, and the tour and everything that happened. Were you able to go see while he was on tour?
We went to a few shows. I saw him in New York, saw him in Atlanta. It was just great. And I think in Used by You came, and then Love Like That came.
Yes, talk about love. Oh, man. Love Like That was so special.
It was just a moment like I had just had my son. So I had made the early idea to Love Like That literally in my Reach Records office. I sometimes create better with like production and not big rooms. I get my best ideas kind of being detached from like the stage of. So I'm in my office literally with like my doctor's lights on, and it's like just going through loops. Hovey was like, I need some more ideas. And I was like, all right, here, call me kind of like on my head, like, bro, we need to get some other producers. We need some more beats. Also, it's going crazy. What's next?
Right.
And I just found some loops and like made that early draft of the beat in like 20 minutes.
Sheesh.
I just was throwing stuff together, sent it to Hovey, but it was really rough. Fast forward, the idea, he like came up with the hook on FaceTime when I sent it to him. And then the idea still needed some more work.
Yeah.
And we knew it was that Jersey vibe, and we just wasn't really sure if it should be him by himself. Fast forward, Used by You comes out. I had my kid in June, and I'm on paternity leave, and I'm kind of like detached from creating. And he was like, yo, what about this idea? I played it for Tory Deshaun. He loves it. And I'm like so detached. I'm like, yo, hear the stem to the beat. Do whatever you want. And they basically sent the final version back.
Oh, shut up.
And I'm like, yo, this is crazy.
Crazy.
So yeah, it just kind of happened organically, and that's kind of all it happened.
Man, talk about a 1 Corinthians banger, man. That's always a real good one. Okay, so we talked on Hovey.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears to Wande.
Let's talk about Wande.
She's
having a year.
Such a year, man. Started things off with Winning.
Yeah.
You know what? Such a great song. And then, of course, like further down the line, she had songs like You. And Wande's so, she has this great diversity and versatile, to her. And then also doing songs like Wild and Free with Doe and her R&B bag. And then we got Stepping in the Light, the double single. So where do you want to start as far as that?
I will say this. I don't want to disclose my Spotify Wrapped or my top songs because I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble. But I want to say that Wande's Winnings in my top.
Listen, I love working out to that song,
man. And Wande knows I was like a little nitpicky on that song before it came out because I knew the other ideas that we were working on in the clip. But there was some like post production and she definitely went in her bag and made that song better. Shout out Clark, but she kicked it off strong with Winning. Like that. First of all, that phrase with Wande and what she represents in her brand. When an artist can like make a dope record that encapsulates
who they are,
yeah, it's like say less. You know what I'm saying? Like that song is One Day. Like that's a Holy Girl record. Holy Girl
it's 100% is
for sure. And then went off, and then You came out, and I was rocking with that. But I really want to talk about Wild and Free.
Okay, let's go. It's such a good. It's like I was talking to shout out to Aaron Knight. It's such a good earworm. It's just like you can listen to it just over and over. And Doe being on that song as well, she just adds such a nice like melodic touch. It was just
for sure. And that song I think encapsulates just the essence of Black women celebrating their love for the Lord and being free in that. And I think sonically the beat matches that. You know what I'm saying? The record matches that. So what happened was we had that hook idea from another camp. Shout out to Dre and Alex. As always, those are my superstar A&R team. And one day heard the idea, heard the hook, got verses on it, and we thought it would be really dope to do a song with her and Doe. Why? Because Doe had used One Day on a feature, I think the year before she even like was where she was now. And so we got the record done, and then we shout out to Ron Hill, and we got Doe on the record. We drove to Nashville. Me, Jordan L'Oreal, who wrote the record, and Dre drove to Nashville, and Wande and Nays drove behind us. We drove to Nashville for a day trip, pull up on Doe, we cut her part, and drove back at like 4 a.m.
Man.
Yeah, so
it was worth it, right?
It was so worth it.
Yeah.
And when that record came out, the content, the visuals, shout out the marketing team, it was just explosive.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was one of them records where competitively, I definitely wanted to beat one of her top songs. Like, Don't Worry About It is like the holy grail.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It just proves how the power of collaboration. I remember talking to Wande a while ago, and she was like, I really want to collab with like more worship artists, like, more gospel
She did,
artists.
yeah.
And the fact that, having this release with Doe, you kind of think like, well, how can you have something where you're true to who you are, but yet also let Doe do her thing, and then hearing what you guys created with that. It's just, like you said, like you feel like frolicking in a meadow. You know what I'm saying, when you hear this one.
Doe kills it.
Now, Stepping in the Light's a new one that's been going crazy.
Super crazy.
Super, like, I was driving my brother the other day. He was like, I want to play a song. He queued up, and then In the Light came on. I was like, what you know about this? He said, I love this song.
Did you see like some of the influencers that like did the
rocking with it?
Oh, I forget one of the guys' name, but anyway, he kills it. Like I think it had like almost like 1.5 million views.
Yeah,
like
man.
That song. In the Light. Stepping's a vibe too. In the Light is probably my favorite One Day song of all time.
Man,
and this is why. Whenever you can have a song that embodies the true essence of an artist. For example, In the Light has One Day rapping, right? And it also has her singing. And then it also has that like kind of Afro flavor with the beat. When you mix all three of those elements, that's like a true One Day record.
It is.
And I shout out the team and everybody that helped put that record together. And then it's like literally celebrating like, that song is like, I don't think you guys understand, like for Black women and for culture, that record is sonically not supposed to be that good.
What do you mean by that?
Like, to have a record that embodies dancing, femininity, Christianity, swagger, beauty, and it's like to the Lord in a pure way. Yeah. Like that record, nobody else but One that can really do that record.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to happen in this age and culture with the way music is made. Like the naysayers, the gatekeepers, and some of the old heads, I don't think they understood what talent can come when you embody who you are and make a dope record for the Lord. Like that record wouldn't have existed 10 years ago.
Yeah, I feel like with us touching on Hovey and Wande, with the year they had, you just got more of a burst of their authenticity.
For sure.
Not even just in who they are and their artistry, but in their faith as well. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about more artists. We're calling this episode Reach Wrapped because we're going to wrap up the whole year talking about everyone who released. And y'all, we got Ace who's going to be here with me. We're talking all about all these amazing artists on the releases they had. Don't go anywhere. It's the 116 Life here on Channel 140 on Sirius XM Holy Culture Radio. We'll be right back. And we're back right here on the 116 Life, right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We're happy you're back here with us one more time. Listen, it's Reach Wrapped. Listen, we're wrapping with all the amazing songs, all the big wins, all the songs, all the things that happened with Reach this year. And we have the best person to talk about it. He was my co-host, but today he's the guest. We have Ace Harris, head of A&R over here at Reach. Listen, okay, so we're going to go ahead and shift gears. Let's talk about Triple E.
For sure.
Personally,
okay,
I love when Trip drops. I love Trip drop only because he has, not only with him being, a legend and, as far as like, the history of Reach, being there from the very beginning, but seeing his evolution and seeing the new things that come out of him, it's just so refreshing. And it's crazy because he's been with Reach since the beginning. So many great releases like At the Cross and Lay Down and Glory, Confetti. So let's talk about the year that Trip had.
For sure. That's a great way to kind of look at it. Because when you said you love when Trip drops, I think if you're a Trip Lee fan, you know that people would say, well, it's a fact. Trip has sometimes, been a little distant. And all of that's due to a number of reasons, family transition and his health.
Yeah.
Shout out Trip Lee. This brother has been consistent.
So consistent, man.
In an age and era where hip hop is sometimes struggling to grow and mature and still be relevant and fresh. Trip Lee has this is second year dropping an album, which is like at this stage of his career doing it for so long. And people sometimes forget Trip Lee's not old. Like Trip Lee started rapping at like 15. So I think sometimes we put him in a bracket that's outside of the age bracket that he actually exists in because he started doing it so young. Yeah. But we forget Trip Lee's like, you pair him on he's peers with Andy and KB. And so, but shout out to the marketing team, D Diaz, SVP of marketing and digital. She had a strategy for Trip Lee that I can take no credit for, which was how do we get someone who has such a legacy career be mindful of the way people consume music in this era, which is being consistent and fighting for quality. So obviously artists like a Trip Lee, he's an album artist by default, right? That's his natural leaning. And he was so humble enough to trust the team to be like, yo, why don't we take what you are great at, which is being a great communicator for the Lord, someone who narrates so well and points people to Christ, makes dope art and has a really dope aesthetic. Yeah. But let's create a singles rollout and bite-sized moments. So Trip Lee bought into it. I mean, he literally bought into it, and the marketing team kills it with the aesthetic thread of every song, every piece of art, visual and content was so seamless. You know what I'm saying? So we started off the year with At the Cross. Shout out Madison Ryan Ward. I mean, I knew
we gotta have her on the show, Ace.
Oh yeah,
we have to have her
Madison,
on the show.
What's up? I'm definitely gonna have to have that. That's the 2024 thing.
For
but
sure.
I mean, it set the year off. When I heard that record, I heard it before she was on the hook, and I actually stood up. I was like, yo, this is such a great record because of what it communicates, and he's rapping and he's telling a story. And a line in it I want to kind of emphasize was even all my losses and my gains, I leave them at the cross. Yeah. What a profound, and Madison mentioned to Trip that she loved that line when he sent her the song to do, because I think a lot of times we are celebrating the things that were given up at the cross. Yeah. But Trip Lee flips it. I'm going to give up my victories too, which is so countercultural. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
What better person to do that than Trip? But yeah, and then we kept the singles rollout going with, we had Lay Down, we had Glory, which sampled the Fred Hammond joint.
Yeah, oh man, that was so good.
And I know KV had a same sample, and they found it was a coincidence that they sampled the same song, and those they're like brothers and found a unique way to kind of tie that moment in. And then he had Confetti, and then he had this record Standby with Hovey.
I love Standby.
I mean, Trip Lee was on a run.
Trip was on one, and one thing I love is that you would think that they would because you were saying how because he's distant for a little bit that he would dial back and things like that, but to go head first and be consistent and drop so many great things. And I love even seeing new school come in with the OGs. You know what I'm saying? So hearing Standby, I was like, oh man, I feel like that was just an amazing merge, just knowing who Trip is and how of course with him, how his past being a pastor, you hear that lyrically when he's on the song, and then knowing who Hovey is and things that in a year, and songs like Used by You and Alter, things like that. Yeah. When hearing Standby come together, it was just the perfect mesh.
It was. And I mean, I love the lyrics in that hook. He can lift your burdens when your hands tied. That I think people needed to hear that song. Yeah. And feel that message. And I think Standby, with the singles rollout that Trip was doing, that he was putting together, that he trusted the team to help us do, Standby was the perfect way to kind of complete that single series. And then we got straight into the epilogue album, which was featuring the Kirk record. And so funny thing about that song, Mercy, shout out Jordan, Alex, for definitely killing that record. It was so dope. The marketing team, man, they be killing it. They be like, tapping into different resources and putting our music in places and spaces where sometimes you're going to be in the unchurched a little bit, which I think is good.
It is.
I'm always a fan of disrupting the scroll. So Kirk is obviously like fun to watch, entertaining.
Yeah.
And that song, the clip of their content was posted on a lot of like hip hop and mainstream blogs.
Oh,
so like for those who follow Spiritual World, which I don't say you need to follow because some stuff on there be a little sketchy. I'm just keeping it real. You might have to,
facts.
But I was it's always interesting for me to see our artists have content on like not like home team spaces, like on like major outlets. And so they posted a clip of Kirk and Trip of the song Mercy on their platform, and I was going through the comments, and it was so refreshing to see like people who were like probably fans of 116 or Trip Lee when they were in their younger years. They were like, oh, I miss Trip. Where's he been? I'm gonna check this song out. Yo, like he's with Kirk. And it was just like a moment, I think, for us to kind of see that the music that we're making has touched so many people. Yeah. And we have the opportunity with that song to reel some people back in.
That's good. I'm happy they had good comments. I'll be ready to fight in the comments.
Yo.
I'm not gonna lie to you. People, I'll be like, nah, y'all just don't want to hear us.
No, there was
but overall, I'm happy the fact that, because like you said, like it's good because we know home team got us. You know what I'm saying? Like we know the home team is always gonna be here, but like, to be able to be put in spaces like BET, Revolt, like, other of these platforms where we can grab those who are, who are maybe not be as knowledgeable of the discography and things like that. It's a win.
It's a win. And there were some comments in there where you like, it's gonna be a little. It's like you're in the wilderness essentially. Yeah. Like, and you in the world. So it's like, but I think overall people it reminded, I think, Trip and me like, yo, the music that God entrusted us to make has been not just limited to like the Christian hip hop industry. It's been spilling out in other spaces. And so, shout out Trip for killing the Epilogue album and just, having a second win in his career.
Super dope. For sure. Listen, let's talk about Lima Blaze, man. I feel he definitely had his chance to shine this year as well. And I just love, man, I be feeling like I'm going to the motherland. You know what I'm saying? I be feeling like give me my jollof rice. You know what I'm saying? You got it.
Liberia got the best.
So many songs like Put It On God and Two and Beautiful Day. What was it like tapping in with Limo this year?
So, Limo's this, he's one of the most consistent artists I've ever worked with. I think everybody here would echo that. He's like an entrepreneur who makes music, essentially.
I see that.
You know what I'm saying? Very like strategic, intentional about like making sure that his business is being managed well and that his brand is going out for in a really fresh way. But so there's never gonna be a year where we're like, yo, we didn't get no Limo music.
Yeah, because he's always thinking.
He's always on it. I think coming after Gyro, the year we had in 2022, it's like a sense of like, man, how do we like follow this up? And I think Limo is just so consistent. Like the 2 record and that 2-pack was cool to kind of set things off. But shout out Limo, his power of using social media. Put It On God record. He had played me that record in Studio C when he was in the States. And I heard it and I was like, bro, this is special. Let's treat this one with care. And he knew it. He got Anatolia on it, and she's amazing at social. Like she just knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And then the content of that song, like to Put It On God, like I think Limo actually shared on his post a couple people who resonated with that song because it was their top song for rap this year, which is like, man, people were going through such tough things, and that song helped them through it. But they posted that joint, and it was just going viral.
Yeah.
Like that message, I was like, man, because I kind of had this idea of like, yo. Not that I'm trying to beat songs. You'll probably think I'm kind of competitive, but I was like, man, we got to figure out how to like compete with Desire.
Yeah, get better. No, that's a good thing to get better and to be able to put that. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
a good attribute.
So that song came out, did really well, and it just kind of kicked the year off for Limo, I feel like. And then we got shout out Madison Ryan Ward again.
We gonna have her on the show, Ace.
We gonna have to. She did her feature on Pretty Day, which was, I mean, that song was just we knew that song was good, right? Limo had that song for probably like a year and a half before Madison was on it. And we knew it was good, but the fans, like people just connected to it. I think there is something about when Christian artists make like songs like Pretty Day where it's like, it's not intentionally worshipful. It's not super explicit, but the expression and the acknowledgement of the goodness of God in a very simple way. Like, it's gonna be a pretty day. I think people that were going through like mental health struggles started posting that song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I see the value, I see the utility, but we just didn't know. And it just kind of took off. And then we got to the Desire remix with Caleb Gordon. And then Limo so there's so much I can say about Limo. There's a artist named Victor, who had a season with his Blessed song and Afrobeat culture last year. His song was like international and global. So Limo collaborated with him for My Matter, featuring Becca Folks, and that song just went up. And so he just kind of just was going crazy. And then I think there's another song that we made so we have this song Over, which just came out.
Right. Yeah.
We had made that record probably like 7-8 months ago. So sometimes what we doing, Meah, we be making songs, and we have songs that we like, that we think could perform well, but sometimes you just don't know. Like something Andy said, which I think is a bar: the artists make the music, the fans make the hits.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can't control. Like we can. I mean, yes, we do be intentional. Like I want to make a song that can have this emotion and have this impact. But at the end of the day, God allows the music to go forward, and you just don't know what you're gonna get back. Sometimes you think something's gonna be the one, and it's just.
I didn't think of it like that, because I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna get mad at y'all because I was gonna say, why y'all sit on music for so long?
No,
you make me mad, you know. But it's good to be intentional.
Yeah,
it's good to be strategic. Of course, like with marketing and things like that.
Yeah.
But because you want to make sure that it's received well.
Yeah, you want to and we want to make sure that the stuff that you guys are playing on your playlist, like, I don't want to infringe on anybody's ear space. Like taking your drive or your moment to spend 3 minutes on a song and listen to the whole thing and run it back. Yeah. I don't take it lightly. So shout out to the fans. But yeah, Over was a song that we had the early sketches on. We loved it. We liked it. But I mean, we kind of like, well, you know, it's cool. And then Limo, like he always does, teasing it out. We knew we wanted to drop it at the end of the year. And shout out to Ellie Linebear, who's featured on it. And he started teasing it on socials, and it just started going up on TikTok. People just using the song. And I was reminded again, the messaging and the music, like, you know, making dope songs, having dope beats, being talented. Yes, 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 yes. At the end of the day, what is the song feeding people's spirit? And that, I think, is what the secret sauce is and what makes a song truly great in our space. And not even just Christian space, but just like, what is the song feeding people that's giving them a sense of like uplifting and inspiring them to like think greater of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that record went up, it's out, going crazy, and Limo just continues to crush and had a really great year. Crushed
it, for real. Now we gotta talk about Cray, because Cray still dropped this year too with Your Power.
Yeah.
And I know this one's special.
I feel like I'm talking so much, but there's so much to say. So I try to make this quick, because Your Power was a moment in itself.
Yeah.
Lecrae didn't drop that much this year, but I think this record said a lot.
Special, yeah.
It's super special. This song was supposed to be on Church Close 4, but we kept it off. Why? Because we felt like it was too powerful, no pun. Like we felt it was too big of a moment to be packaged into like that great body of work. Like we felt like it would have kind of got lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? So we kept it. We got Tasha to cut it. Reworked the production. Juve, Swoop, Alex, Dre, hell, everybody. There was so many hands on that record, and we kind of had an idea like, I think this song can like probably get like, you know, Grammy nominated. We think, we're not sure.
Maybe.
You know, we think. Song came out. There was supposed to be like some more marketing activations that were supposed to go on with it, and it just didn't happen. So we were like, oh, you know, we wanted to do more with it. But the song came out. People was like definitely well receiving it, rocking with it. But it was cool. Like it was a great moment. And Lecrae, someone who's been like a Grammy Award winning artist, who doesn't do it for that at all. A lot of times, man, we submit, like we always submit all of our records for like Grammy consideration. But we don't think of it. We don't really do a lot of like campaigning.
Yeah, like let's see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. You see other artists, I'm not trying to throw shade, but for whatever reason, and maybe I think it's a good thing, some labels and artists, for your consideration, vote for this song. It's a little bit of, it's some politics that go into awards. That's why I don't want artists to don't feel slighted if you're not nominated. Like, it's not about this song being great per se. It's a lot that goes into it that doesn't validate you as an artist, right? So we just submitted it. We weren't thinking nothing of it. And then we got the nomination back. And it was nominated for Gospel Best Contemporary Christian Song of the Year. I think it's just nothing but, you know, we make the music And God uses the fans and the people to make the hits. We don't really control how it's received, right? We just try to make our best song we can. And that was honestly a surprise.
Man, listen, surprises on hits, on everything.
Yeah.
The momentum that you guys were able to keep up this year with so many artists, with on their own journeys of life and have their own way of creative artistry, and the way how everything was able to just work for everybody.
For sure,
this has been amazing. And when we come back, we're gonna wrap up Reach Wrapped with Tadashi and What Up RG, and we just gonna dive into just like what this whole year has been for the Reach artists. So don't go anywhere. We're here at the 116 Life here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the 116 Life right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. I'm your host today, solo host, because you want to know why we got Ace in the guest seat, because we're doing Reach Wrapped. We're talking all about the amazing songs, amazing projects that dropped, that came out of the house of Reach Records, and Ace is giving us all the behind the scenes scoop, all things behind the scenes, and giving us his intake on everything that came out this year. Let's talk about What Up RG. Okay, so with so many different things, God made a way within itself. What did so well this year, man, and I feel like that song just like is such a feel good song, and I think it's something that everyone can always just like relate to, like believer side of saying how God made a way. And then my Spanish is a little rough, y'all, so I may mess this up. Say it, Ace.
Bendición.
Bendición. See, okay, so Bendición, and then Digital and Heaven on Earth. So let's talk about the year that RG had with all the music that he dropped.
Shout out Raul, you know what I'm saying? Northside Hero. I feel like, so God made a way. I mean, the song is like just an amazing testimony to just trusting the Lord with your art. So, you know, it's been well documented that, you know, What Up RG went through like a season of depression before New Hollywood. New Hollywood came out in 2022. There's an episode on it you can watch for those who want to get a little backstory. But he had made God Made a Way in 2022 after New Hollywood, I think, was already turned in, just randomly in Studio D. And I just happened to pull up on him. So I had sent him the beat, like a pack of beats, I think probably like a month before he had picked that beat, and I'm glad that he did, because I kind of wanted him to rap to it. So I'm just casually in the studio walking by. He's like, yo, Ace, check this out. Plays me the song. I think Lecrae comes in, and we're just like, bro, what are you doing? Drop this tomorrow.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, drop this record. And he was just like, I don't know. I like it, but I don't know if it embodies my true sound. You know, RG's he's a purist. He's a I feel like I'm better as a creative in my position, because he cares about the art so much, where you have to respect his integrity as an artist, and his reasons for sometimes not being sure if every song needs to come out. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, yo, this got to come out.
Yeah.
You're tripping.
Right.
And so he finally like tweaked the beat some and put some effects on it to kind of make it feel more like him. And so the song wasn't really, it didn't come out till like April. It came out like 6 months later. Like, that song is a song that I was like, yo, I love this record. I want this to come out, but I want RG to want it to come out too.
Yeah.
But, you know, God's timing is the best. It finally comes out and it just crushes. Like, and I think there is just like a little A&R hack that I think artists can definitely be mindful of as you're creating. Not to like, you don't want to strategize like making songs that are catchy and just and lose all your artistic integrity. But I think in today's era, I said this earlier, there is some science or some math that goes into what I think are songs that have high utility on social media or in the era, the way people consume music. Like the phrase that pays, the statement, the messaging. What is a song about? Obviously, the production got to be solid. It's got to make you feel a certain ways. Right. But what is a song? What does it embody? What does it make you think about? And I think that statement, stayed down, came up, God made a way. Whether you're in church, out of church, walking away, deconstructing, whatever you are going through, even if you're kind of like agnostic but have faith leanings, that message is powerful. Stayed down, came up. People who don't even know that they know God can really sing that song. Because
everyone's had hard times. Like, you know, everyone's been at the bottom. So when you think about it, the song makes you feel up. Like it makes you feel as if you came from the bottom and then now you're on top. You know what I'm saying?
For
so
sure.
that definitely transpires with the record.
It definitely, and I think RG's authentically communicating his real life in that song. So it's not like let's make a song to be catchy that embodies this thing to get streams and plays. Nah, this is really his real life. Song goes up, goes crazy. The video was shot. Oh, the video, I love the video.
The video was insane.
Crazy. I don't even have nothing to say about that video.
Okay, so what else about RG? I know that another big thing that I love, which was probably for me one of my favorite things, not even just out of Reach, but out of just the space, the CHH space in general, was him kind of quarterbacking Heaven on Earth, the collective. Sure. What was your reaction to, hearing about, the collective, hearing the music, so on and so forth?
No, it was dope. I mean, he had showed me the early stages of this thing he wanted to do, outside of like kind of like an independent group release, and we thought it was really dope. We wanted to encourage him, and I heard some of the early ideas, and I was just like, this is phenomenal, like sonically, production wise, and I love when like believers, artists can come together in any capacity and just stand on business, stand on kingdom business, essentially. Right. Like
standing on kingdom business. That's facts.
We go ahead and like put that somewhere. But no, I think it just shows camaraderie and unity. Because I mean, for example, Trip Lee was saying how like his son Q loved like the whole Heaven on Earth project. And I think there's something special about him loving it. It's like if you're like a younger person, specifically like high school, whatever, seeing like essentially like people ganging up, but for a positive purpose, like on like for the Lord, unto the Lord, and it's dope. It says so much. So yeah, so Digital Drop went up, and that was like a prelude to his Heaven on Earth project, which I think was a dope project. And and we just saw RG live in Atlanta at Vinyl, where he did one of his like tour stops as he plans to try to go on tour later next year. Show was incredible, artistically and aesthetically, everything was dope. So yeah, he just had a good year. He got some new stuff. But next year, that's going to be crazy. So, yeah, shout out Raul, you know what I'm saying?
How has it been? Because you've seen RG from the beginning, seeking him out, being on the label and everything like that. Seeing who he is now, how has that growth been for you seeing that firsthand?
I think shout out to the culture here where we do really well signing artists who are at their beginning stages. Like, before the world can kind of see what it's going to be like. You take RG, you take Hovey, you take one. These people are like 19, 20 years old. Like before they're coming into their adulthood, which obviously there's some things we learned about that too. But with RG, he came in, he's always been a creative, always been someone who has been fighting for like artistic integrity. And I think one thing I've seen him grow in, which has been amazing, is the way he communicates his faith as like a pure artist has sharpened. Like he has found a way to express his faith in such a unique way where it's not even like trying to be ambiguous, trying to cover it up, or trying to be like, yo, this is like, I'm a Christian making art. It's like, nah, it's like explicitly, unashamedly Christian, but it's done in such a high artistic way where you gotta respect it. And I think he's killing it. Yeah, you got to. It's like
you can't help
it. You can't help to. Like
he went from little holy to big holy now. You
angels
know what I'm
all
saying?
around me and Liddy. It's electric. Like, come on, man.
No, like really, it's really been dope seeing, because I've been rocking since one of my favorite projects is Pleasant Hill. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, to see the growth from him to now, and even like knowing the opposition he had when it came to New Hollywood, seeing him press through that and see what he was able to do this year has been phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, so we got to get into some. We'll touch a little bit on Summer 23. Okay. Everyone looks forward to every single year. How different was this playlist from any other playlist I think
that's a great. I think the one thing I would say about Summer 23 this past year was shout out my team. Stay Low. Child like CC.
It's something about Stay Low that just hit.
It just hit. When you see like women rapping on fire for the Lord over that like aggressive beat and that like very like chant on the hook, it was amazing. It was a special moment. Shout out, Toya Love, Reese Lachey, Child like CC. It was just a moment. So yeah, I can't even say more about Summer 23. I feel like Stay Low was just so important.
It was definitely a staple, I would say. Now let's talk about Tadashi, the year he had.
T-Dot, man. T-Dot, he went through a lot. Like he talked about it, which I think it would be dope to have him on the show to actually actually deconstruct a little bit. On the 2022 Unashamed tour, he like had a terrible accident, was like in bandages, and Tadashi like people don't know this about, well, he's kind of said it a little bit, but he was literally fighting for his life, fighting for his mental health, fighting for his spiritual health. And he just will not go down. Like Tedashii will not. He's just so relentless. Like it's encouraging to me to see a brother who's like been through so much like death and grief and destruction, and he's still like something I say about Tedashii. Like obviously, I'm not trying to like age him out, but let's just say when he started rapping, there's so many rappers in mainstream who literally cannot rap anymore. Like they on Love and Hip Hop. They try.
Oh yeah.
Like they're culturally irrelevant. And to him to still be doing what he's doing and still be great at it, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's like it's got to be God. You know what I'm saying? So he dropped the MMA freestyle, which was some people when he dropped that freestyle. I know some people were like, "Yo, I forgot that Tedashii because he's been doing like his melodic, like pop thing a little bit.
Yeah,
yo, I forgot he can rap.
He can spit for real.
Come on, Tedashii's he can really rap. Like that's his thing. And the Dead or Alive part 1, the EP was so phenomenal. Family Tree, Victory Lap. There was some joints on there. So I think he just wanted to remind himself and the fans that yo, I still got it.
No, he shows that for sure. What is it like seeing? Because when I think about Trip and I see T Dot and of course Cray. Well, what is it like seeing them move with the times and the evolution of culture and music so well? You know what I'm saying? Like how you see some people where they fall off because they're just not in touch anymore. They just like they think that my best stuff was back then. I can't keep up with these young bucks now. But to see the three of them, like Texas Pete was one of my favorites.
Texas
off of,
Pete,
Summer 23, because it's just like the way they held it down showed that they still got it. What's it like seeing them progress and move forward with everyone else keeping up with the new school and everyone?
Yeah, I think they've been really intentional about keeping a dope community around them where they allow other people to help sharpen them. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is, you know, they'll invite me and my team or even some of the other artists on the roster to like speak into the music. And I think there are a lot of artists who are talented and they're really good, but maybe their art isn't progressing, not because they don't have the talent, but they're not inviting other people into their artistic community. And that can be a stumbling block for growth. And that's where at times, even I'm not immune to it as well. It's like, if you want to progress, and let me just say this, it's not about staying young. It's not about Lecrae or Tedashii or Trip Lee being what the young people, that is like probably your fastest way to not be relevant. That's
your quickest way to tell your age, is to try to be young.
And there's probably been some blind spots on things that may have come out of this building that you can argue, well, Ace, what about that? I'm like, all right, look, I'm not saying that we're perfect at it or without fault. What I'm saying is the best way to age gracefully in hip hop is to be mindful of culture, not like appropriate it. And I think if you being mindful of culture means surrounding yourself with people who have a younger perspective and just learning how they receive your music and finding out how to age in a way that's like basically mindful of how you like naturally create and like legitimately, authentic and like, all right, this is where we're at. This is what I do. How do I apply what I do into where we're at?
That's good.
And I think that's then the secret sauce on some of the artists like a Trip Lee, Tedashii, Lecrae, even like some mainstream artists like a J. Cole.
Yes.
It's like, yo, let's not appropriate the youth. Let's be mindful where they're at and find out how do I apply where I'm at into what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
When I tell y'all, Ace is a gold mine. That's why I was excited to just hearing because you're behind the scenes and also because you're creative, hearing your take in how things just move because you're so knowledgeable on culture, just music, producing, all of that. Hearing your take on how things move in this house here
for sure
is just it's impeccable. I love being able to hear what you have to say. So last but not least, let's talk about the kid, Young Otto. 1K Few. Now here's my question: why y'all letting Few tease us with this project? We praying for Atlanta for weeks. We always gonna pray for Atlanta, but we ready for the music. But we're gonna get into that later. So let's talk about On Fire, it's new that's gonna be on the way, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to favorite trapper. Talk about Few and how he's been tapping in for 2023.
What I heard you say is, Ace, we praying for Atlanta, but we praying for the Praying for Atlanta project.
We praying for the Praying for Atlanta project. Yes.
On Fire, Zaytoven. Few's just authentically culture. He's authentically Atlanta.
Authentic.
We gotta have him on the show soon. Zay and Few, we gotta. I ain't gonna say so too much because I think we would be redundant because they're coming on soon, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna make that happen. But I think that it just embodies who he is naturally. Like Atlanta, trap music, Zay, church musician, few. I'm not even gonna say Christian hip hop. I'm gonna say gospel rap. Yeah. I think that embodies who he is. And that song, it just says so. Atlanta hip hop specifically, hip hop overall, and then Atlanta specifically has just been through a tumultuous time in terms of hip hop and culture. That's losing takeoff. That's it's fresh right now. The YSL trial with Young Thug. Literally, I can't say too much, but we have. I met someone who used to be a part of that entourage, who was on the business side, that recently found the Lord, and we're having like conversations about culture and faith and sharing ministry, and they're saying how much they're appreciative to find our music and find a way to. And so that Pray for Atlanta project, that On Fire song, is not just a song; it's literally like a street reporter in culture and seeing what's going on in culture. And while everybody's picking sides and rambling about hip hop should do this and fighting, Few is just saying like, yo, we need to be careful and mindful of what's happening literally down the street and in hip hop in Atlanta. And as a gospel rapper, this is my voice. This is me tapping into culture, using somebody like Zaytoven and saying, look, we need to just wake up a little bit and pray for our city and pray for our culture, pray for the art form that God has given us. And what better person to do it than someone who's authentically can stand on what they saying about.
Yes.
Whereas like you don't have to like go through my lyrics and try to like say, well, you're saying that, but when I hear your song,
Few lives that life for real.
He lives that life for real. It's authentic. You know what I'm saying? So I think I'll say, yeah, he's an important piece to what we do here. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. So listen, wrapping everything up, looking at all the artists in its entirety, how do you feel?
Yeah.
Because you had a hand in everyone releasing this year in all different ways, shapes, and forms and fashions. How do you feel looking back on all the things that was created, all the things that the progress, all the wins that came out of Reach this year?
No, for sure. I just want to say shout out God, obviously, for allowing me to do this, and then shout out the team, the Reach Records roster, the staff, the marketing team, the digital team, the studio team, man, the mix, man, Biz and his crew. Amazing at making sure everything sounds sonically right. And I just want to say, like, in an era where like hip hop statistically is having like extreme decline in terms of sales and streams. This is not just me, the presumably old head saying it. This is not just a Christian dude saying it. This is like literally data that's in culture. This is people like Lil Yachty saying to J. Cole, man, like hip hop has got to come better. And I feel like there's a unique opportunity for us as Christian hip hop artists and record labels and A&Rs and execs to take this opportunity to not, fumble the bag. Like we have to really make great art that points to culture, that uplifts God, and I think Christian hip hop is in a unique space to be the voice in hip hop to redeem it essentially on a larger scale. So I don't take it lightly. So that's what we're here trying to do every day.
Yeah, and it's beautiful seeing a label, musicians, creatives who are not tone deaf. It's so beautiful to be able to see that, because we have a lot of artists and people who are, of course, there's nothing wrong with saying Jesus, nothing wrong with that, but being able to fuse that into culture, because Jesus was in culture, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to speak where people are, to speak what's happening, and be able to move along with it, but yet give hope. And within that is so encouraging. I've always heard that what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And the fact that so many hearts here have been communicated through music and through sonics, have been able to reach the hearts of so many, has been a blessing to see this year. And so we're so excited that you guys were able to be tapped in all year round. And listen, get ready for 2024, because it's going to be an amazing year to hear everything that's going to come out of here. Thank you, Ace, for switching sides for once. You know what I'm saying? For being the guest this week, and for everything that you've been able to put your hands to when it comes to everyone here. I know everyone speaks so highly of you, and of course we always see why. But listen, thank you guys for tuning in once again. This has been Reach Wrapped. We wrapped all the amazing projects that came out of this house, and we're so excited to see what comes out next year, and you do not want to miss it. Listen, I'm Meah Evans. I am your host, and this has been the 116 Life right here on Holy Culture Radio, Sirius XM Channel 140. We'll see you soon.